Hey, hey, hey. I never know when we're live. I know you guys are like, really, Tiffany? Every week? Yep, every week. All right, so I'm pretty sure we're live. I'm going to check. So today we've got a great little lineup. I'm going to be showing you how to make your credit score jump like Jordan. And you will be able to ask me questions. Not sure where to find me. You can go to thebudgetnista.com. Well, if you're watching this, you probably are here. So don't worry about that. But if you cannot comment, if you are someplace for some reason you're watching it and you're like, I'm not able to comment, that means you're probably at the wrong link. So you can go to thebudgetnista.com. There's a box that says events. Click on that box and you will see the link that will bring you to the YouTube channel where I am broadcasting live. And if you scroll down, like there'll be a picture or video box. You scroll down and you'll see the comment section. Let's see. We have some people here already. So please say hello if you are here, because you know I like to get you guys to say hi. I don't like feeling like I'm talking to myself. So say hi, say hi, say hi, so I can say hi back. Let's see. I see we have one viewer. I know the other women are trickling in, just hit 9 o'clock. So please say hi in the comments so I can shout you out real quick. I know this is not our usual Sunday, but I promise next Sunday, which is our last Google Hangout, I promise that we will have it on Sunday again, because I want you guys to get used to a schedule. And then that'll be our last Hangout. Can you believe that the challenge is almost over? How crazy is that? So I'll wait for people to trickle on in, say hi in the comments, tell me how your day was. I don't know, just share. While I'll wait, I see some more people have come on in. My day was all right. It was one of those days where I just kind of wanted to stay in bed because it's cold outside, and me and my African blood does not do well with the cold. But the fun thing is that I was able to get the t-shirts designed, and I should have them on Friday. So thank you guys so much. I will unveil the, remember you guys helped me with the tagline. I will unveil the tagline and the color of the t-shirt very soon. So you guys, if you are going to be at the Live Richer party, which is February 11th, you will be able to get your t-shirt. So I see some more people are kind of trickled in. Please say hello in the comments so I can say hello back. And I know I'm not here by myself because I see you're here. Oh, good. There you go. Charmaine says, hey, yes, I am definitely staying warm. Charnel. Hola, Allegri. Hey, Cherie. Let the highs come in. Like I said, I don't like feeling like I'm talking to myself. So yeah, how's everybody's day? You could tell me in the comments as well. Today we have like not a lot to go over, but kind of, it's sad. It's almost the end of the challenge. 36 days already almost gone, which is so crazy to me. And we're in investment and insurance week. And so you, hopefully, if you've been able to get to the task, have already reviewed some of your policies and you know what they actually mean now. You've gotten a quote, especially a life insurance quote, to see how much you can afford, like I did. So for you guys who don't realize, I do the task before you guys do the task. So what I do is, even though I've done the task like 1,000 times, but I want to make sure that you're getting the experience I want you to have. So what I do is every night before I go to sleep, that email that you get in the morning, I send it to myself, and then I go through all of the tasks. And so I did the task of figuring out, like today's task, how much life insurance I could possibly afford. I put in my weight, my height, all this kind of stuff. And I found that I can get a $300,000 policy for I think like $22 or $23 a month. Yes, that's term life insurance. So insurance is not nearly as expensive as you might be afraid of. If you did not do today's task, day 30, competitors' quotes, do so, because you might find that you don't have a certain type of insurance that you could probably really afford. Like renter's insurance is usually like $9 to protect your stuff. So don't be underinsured, especially now that you've done your budget, especially now that you have a money bucket and you're saving a little bit more, you can afford more of these things in your life, because insurance really is a critical piece to your financial security. Don't let that go. So today was a really great week. I'm waiting for a few more people because I want to share. Well, let me share the bad first. Today was a really great week. Oh, let me see who else is here. I'm loading up. Hey, Nadine. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Pearl. Hey, Cherie. Hey, Duchess. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Miss Lottie. I'm excited you're here too. I know. I can't believe it's almost over, right? This is crazy. The good thing is it's not really over, because I'm going to set the challenge on automatic. So what that means is I'm going to create like a new sign up. Once the challenge is done, I'm going to create like a different sign up. It'll look the same to you, but it'll be a different sign up. And that anyone who signs up for the challenge from then on, if you sign up on Tuesday, you'll get your first email day one on Wednesday. You sign up on Monday, you get your first email day one on Tuesday. And so no matter when you sign up, that you'll be able to do the challenge at any time. So if your sister friend or your coworker is like, I should have joined, you know, it's not too late. Tell them that, you know what, the challenge is going to be set to automatic. Probably at the end of February, I might take a little break. And they'll be able to sign up, and they can do the challenge in October. It'll be up there and just kind of like cycle through. So don't worry that, you know, you've missed out and it's too late, because it's not. Anybody else here? Say hi. Don't be shy. I see way more people have joined us. So I'll share like the not so great news this week. So you guys didn't know, but maybe like 2 or 3 days ago, I can't remember. My days are running together. I was doing what I always do every night and sent the challenge to myself and went through the process and clicked the learn how to rock this task here. Went to my website where I send you guys every day for the challenge, my blog. And I realized something was wrong, like I had a spelling error or something. So I went to fix it and the blog went blank. I almost had a heart attack. And I was like, and then I was like, return, blank, blank, blank. And then I realized I crashed my site. Well, y'all crashed my site. That's how many people have been coming to. So I could not believe it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I called my host company, which is GoDaddy, and told them, and then they walked me through some tech stuff that I did not understand. And they're like, oh, it should be back up in 2 hours. Meanwhile, it's already 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, 2 hours, I have to stay up till 3. So I took a little cat nap and woke up at 3 and looked, wasn't fixed. And they told me, oh, just do this, 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 and this. And it should be up in another hour, 2 hours. And I said, are you sure? They said, yes. I said, okay. So I did some work, took another little cat nap, woke up at 5. It was worse. It was just a black screen that said error, 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 error. My heart was like, oh. So I called them back and I was like, for those of you who wake up early, you know that the challenge email goes out to you at 6 a.m. every morning, like 6:03, 6:04, but it's automated. 6 a.m. every morning it goes out, and it might reach you 3 minutes later. So I'm like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. The people are coming to see this, you know, whatever information I'm giving today. I don't remember what day it was. And there's nothing. What am I going to do? So I called them and they walked me through something, and they basically were like, there's nothing we could do. And then I just started crying because I'm a baby. And I was just like, please help me. And so they did some magic after some prayer, and somehow they got it back and running. And literally they got it back and running. So meanwhile, the email goes out 6 o'clock. They got it up and running at 5:45 a.m. So y'all don't even know the half. So it's hard, this life sometimes, being an entrepreneur. I love it. But then you have times like that where it's really, really like hard. I mean, I was already up at 6 a.m. the night before. So basically 24 hours later, I'm still up with like some cat naps in between, you know, but that's how much I love y'all. I was like, I'm not going to go to sleep until I get this fixed, because I don't want you to wake up and there's nothing here. That this is what I told you I was going to do for you. So I was going to stick to that. So Akua asked the question, hey, Akua, if someone signed up but never started, can they sign up again? Yes. So I wouldn't sign up now, Akua, if they've never started. Tell them to wait. I'm going to post something, and I'll probably send like an email out to those who are already on the list saying, if you have friends who want to sign up, I'll let you know when, but don't do it now because it's not automated. And it kind of doesn't make sense for them to start and get day 31 tomorrow, you know, and, you know, when they could just start with day 1 in a few weeks. So I would just tell them, just wait, let me automate it once we're done with this cycle. All right, so, some great news. So if you did not see, Black Enterprise did an article about us. So Black Enterprise is a really great magazine, really well respected in the Black community as it relates to investing in business and money. And they did this article that said, I can't remember exactly because I have an old lady brain, but something like the budget needs to help 10,000 women save $1 million. I was like, okay. So that was just awesome press. And we got so many new signups for that. You know, we were at 10,000. You want to know where we're at now as a result? 11,000 women. That's awesome. And so, yeah, so that was just a really great article, and it helped to ease the fact that my site had crashed. So, hey, Monica. Hey, Angela. Yes, tech issues. Yes. Hey, April. Okay, so let's see what we're going to go over today. So I wanted to tell you about that. I also wanted to tell you that, okay, so the tour, I'm working on the tour. These are some of the tentative cities. So don't get mad if I don't mention your city. But I don't know if you remember, but way back when you first started the challenge, you had to do a registration survey, and I asked you what state you lived in. So based upon that survey, I said, well, this is where the women are, so this is where I need to be. So the cities are looking like, these are some of the tentative cities, like Miami, Atlanta, New York, of course, because I live in New Jersey. Charlotte, North Carolina. What else did I say? Oh, LA. Maryland, DC, because I think Maryland was really heavy. I'm trying to think. Georgia, Atlanta, I said Atlanta. Oh, Chicago. So these are looking like the cities that I might hit based upon that survey. And so hopefully I will see you soon. So one thing I'm working on for the tour is sponsors, as you know. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm also going to ask in the group, if you work for a company that you think might like to sponsor, please, please, please contact me, because I'm really trying my best to make sure this tour happens and that we hit as many cities as possible, because so many of you hit me behind the scenes asking for one-on-one help, which I don't really do one-on-ones anymore because I just don't have the capacities. Only Tiffany. And so at the tour, one of the things I'll be able to do is, you know, really take some time and speak to you. And not to say I'll be able to give you like a session, you know, there's 100 people there, but at least we could take some time. And during the tour, what I'm planning is for it to be like networking/workshop, because I want you to leave with some real concrete tools to make your life even better financially. So networking/workshop/ just fun, hangout, girl gathering. So if, like I said, if you work for a company that you think might sponsor, you work for Dove, you work for United Airlines, you work for Marriott, you work for, it could be something small. You know, let me know, because I will get you some more information about what sponsorship looks like. Another thing that I'm going to do to offset some of the costs of the tour, I spoke about this earlier in a call I had with my literature leaders, is that although I said at first I wanted to make the tour completely free, and I did, I don't know that I'll be able to financially afford that, to take on that financial burden like I did for the challenge. The challenge, I spent my own money. And thankfully, I was able to get Prudential to come and sponsor, and they offset most of the costs, not all of them, but most of them. But for the tour, I think it's going to be more expensive than the challenge. And I'm like, unless I don't want to retire, and for those of you who know me, I have an 80-year-old self, and I named her Wanda. And Wanda said, you are not spending our retirement money on this tour. So I listened to Wanda, and I said, okay. So instead, I think I'm going to charge like a nominal fee to come to the tour. So we're working on what that is, but it's not going to be some crazy amount of money. And you're going to get, you know, some sort of refreshment, a book, a t-shirt, something that you'll get tangible as well. But also, you'll also get to meet your Live Richer sisters. You'll get to have a in-person workshop with me. So it's going to all be worth it. But I just wanted to put it out there, because I know initially I'd said that I wanted the tour to be free, and I would have loved that. And, you know, but I just think that, you know, financially, if I don't get the sponsorship, but I'm feeling good, but if I don't get all the sponsorship that money that I would need to make it happen, then yes, and that's what I'm going to do, is ask you to be sponsors, individual sponsors, in whatever small way that is. Let's see, what else? Oh, so, you know, the challenge ends like next Monday, which is so crazy. We're less than a week away. So we're thinking about, what is the transition after the challenge? I don't want you to think, oh, once the challenge is over, it's over. It's not. So what I'm thinking is, well, first of all, the Live Richer group is there, which is amazing. And so, of course, that will stay. But I'm thinking, what other things can we do? So I definitely want to do an investment group. investment club. And so we'll talk more about that. I'm thinking that investment clubs will be small groups that we'll do. I'm going to hire someone to come in and teach us. So I'm not a master investor. Budgeting, savings, debt, credit, I'm your girl. Investing, I hired somebody to help me with my investing, like my insurance. I have a financial advisor. So I'm going to get someone who has the energy and the love for investing that I do for budgeting and savings and all that kind of stuff. Come teach you and me too. And so I talked to somebody who I think would be a good fit. And that would be something, it'll probably be like a monthly fee that will go to him, like $10 or $15. I'm trying to talk him down, that we would pay, including me, to help for us to do maybe like a bi-weekly course. And they would be small groups that we'd work together, like maybe 10 women per group. So you really get some one-on-one attention. So we'll talk more about what that investment club looks like. But I wanted to put a buzz in your ear that after the challenge, you'll be able to invest. And one of my Live Richer leaders, she mentioned, I think this is a great idea, that so many of us, of you, are looking to buy a home. So maybe we'll start a real estate club. Not that we're going to buy real estate together, but instead, I'll find someone else to come teach those people who are looking to work their way through the real estate process, whether it's for investing or for your own personal property where you're going to live, that they'll come and teach us that too. I have a house, but for those who are interested, because I want the learning to continue. See, the Live Richer Challenge is like the prerequisite course. Remember from college that sometimes you had to take the prerequisite course before you could take the one-on-one course? So the Live Richer Challenge is like the prerequisite course. It's like the base level: budgeting, savings, debt, credit, insurance, and basic investing. That's what you're going to learn. And once you get that down, it's time for the next level. So the next level looks like property, buying a home. The next level looks like investing, stocks, mutual funds, whatever that looks like for you. The next level looks like stuff like that. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, I want us not just to be great savers and budgeters. I want us to grow wealth. I want like the net worth of our group to increase. I should have asked y'all what your net worth was. Girl, I don't even know what my net worth is. But I would love, we're going to figure that one day. Figure out what is our net worth now, and then figure out what it's going to be in a year. Because I want to like double our net worth. And I want to grow wealthy, wise sisters. So yeah, that's some of the things that I want to transition after the challenge, that this is by no means the end. It's really just the beginning to the rest of your savvy financial life. Hey, Priscilla. Hey, Melanie. Yeah. So if you couldn't comment, for some reason, Google Plus is probably acting up. Melanie just told me that she could not comment on Google Plus. So if you're on Google Plus and you're watching, go to thebudgetnista.com, click the event box, and there's a link that you can click that you'll see for our Hangout, and it's going to take you to the YouTube page. See my old lady brain? Wanda is always in there. So it'll take you to the YouTube page where I am now, and you will be able to comment. Like, you'll be able to scroll down and comment, and it looks like a YouTube page. So do that, because I want you to be able to comment. Hey, Monica. Anybody else have any highs? Don't be shy. What else? So investment clubs I talked about, real estate. Another thing that kind of came up is possibly starting like some chapters, because so many of you awesome women have already have meetups all over. So that's another transition. I want to take it just offline. I want you to meet each other. And some of you are already meeting up, which is great. If you're looking for a meetup in your area, the best place to look is if you go to the Facebook page and you go to the top of our Facebook page, our Dreamcatchers Live Richer page. There's some tabs up at the top, right under my picture. And one of the tabs says Files. Click on that tab that says Files. And there you will see a ton of meetups in all these different states. If you don't see one in your state or in your county or whatever you're looking for, you can create a meetup. And here's how. There's a little, once you hit Files, it'll say Create a Doc. And you can create your own doc. Just copy and paste someone else's meetup doc, because that's the template that I gave them. You're going to copy and paste some of the meetup docs, that meetup doc, and you're going to put it in your document, and then you are going to then write whatever it is, like who, where, when, how people can sign up. So you can create your own meetup, but do it there, because that's where the other women will find you. So they've already had meetups in St. Louis, Atlanta, Chicago, Jersey, and I know there's more to come. So you can create a meetup or find a meetup under the Files tab on the Live Richer group in Facebook. So meetups are another way that we're going to keep this party going. Let's see. All right, I think I talked about all like the business stuff. Oh, so the party, for those of you who live in the New York, New Jersey area, I hope that you will be at the party. We already have like 300 RSVPs, which is awesome. It's going to be fun, fun, fun. I will have books there. Whoop, whoop. So I did a little book redesign. I don't know if you noticed. It's the same books, though. You know, for those of you who got the old book, you have the vintage version. But I just added a little green strip. My name was already here, but I felt like you couldn't read it. So I added a little green strip so you could read my name a little bit better, if you can see. So I will have a ton of books. I ordered a ton of them. I will have shirts. It's a cute little lounge / restaurant. There's 2 bars. I don't drink, but there's 2 bars for those of you who do. Upstairs and downstairs. It's really nice. It's accessible to the train. If you go to livericher.eventbrite.com, yes, livericher.eventbrite.com, please RSVP because I want to know how many of you are coming out. Please RSVP. If you have any questions, let me make sure. Top comments, newest first. Please don't hesitate. I know I haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes. Today we're going to talk about credit. So, hey, Marciella. Maybe I can do, yes, Michelle, that would be nice for you to do a meetup in upstate New York. Hey, Violet. Hey, Michelle. Oh, she's waving. Yes, right, Michelle? That the Facebook group is amazing. Now, what's the slogan for the t-shirt? Monica, it's a surprise. You will see, even if you don't live in Jersey. I'm going to put the t-shirts online somehow. So for those of you who don't live in the New York, New Jersey area, that you can order your t-shirts if you want to get them that way. Hey, Miss T. Priscilla. Okay. So I just wanted to say hi to some people. Okay, so let's get into credit. So if you have any credit questions, you can start asking them now. I'm going to teach a lesson about how to make your credit score jump like Jordan, and I will take your questions live. Once again, if you're watching on Google Plus and you cannot comment for whatever reason, it's acting crazy today, go to thebudgetnista.com, click the event box on thebudgetnista.com. There is a link where you can watch it, us live via the YouTube page, and on that YouTube page for this Hangout, at the bottom, you will be able to comment live and ask your questions. All right, so let's get started. So first, as it relates to credit, it's most important to know how is your credit score calculated. So if you did credit week, this should just be reviewed, but it's important, so it bears repeating. So inquiries are 10% of your score. So an inquiry, for you, those of you who are unaware, is when you allow someone other than you to take a peek at your credit report. So there's 2 kinds of inquiries. There's a hard one, which is literally like you give them usually your social security number. That's how they find you. That's a hard one, and those are the ones that stay on your credit report for 2 years and will drop your score. Anywhere from like 8 to 30 points. And there's soft inquiries. So soft inquiry is like, you ever get like the solicitations in the mail, like, oh, you've been pre-approved for an American Express card. They found you via soft inquiry. So soft inquiry, think about it like, you know, remember when we used to get report cards? Some of y'all are still getting report cards in college. That's cute. I'm too old for college right now. So remember we used to get report cards at college or high school or whatever, and you would get like your general GPA. That's a soft inquiry. Like, oh, I have a 3.0. A hard inquiry is when you actually see each semester in all the classes. So hard inquiry is when you give someone an in-depth look by giving them your social security number. A soft inquiry doesn't count against you because anyone can see your general GPA basically. And so that's how they send you those solicitations, because they're like, oh, she's got a general good score, 3.0, 3.5. Okay, we could send her a solicitation. So just bear in mind that whenever you go to the Gap or Target and they're like, hey, ma'am, would you like to save 15% by like applying for a Target card? What she's really saying is, hey, ma'am, would you like to lose up to 30 points applying for this Target card? Yes, 30 points. You want to know why? Because store cards take the most money out. Or not the most money, I'm sorry. Store cards drop your score the most. So be very careful about signing up for all those store cards. To me, it only makes sense to apply for that store card is if, let's just say you're in Home Depot and you're remodeling your home and you're spending like $1,500, $2,000, something like that. And they're giving you a 15% off discount. That might be a few $100s. It actually might be worth it. But if you have a $60 dress or whatever, and they're offering you 10%, it's not worth it to drop that score, because lower credit score will cost you more money. And so to save $6 now, but in the long run, you're going to be spending maybe another $100 a year because your credit score is lower. So remember your increase, and that's 10% of your score. They stay on your credit report for 2 years. Remember that. Type of debt is also 10%. So type of debt is just what it sounds like. What type of debt do you have? Do you have credit card debt, mortgage, school loan? They like to see that you have different types. You said that? Look at me. They like to see that you have different types of debt. Here's why. If you told me I'm a good cook, Tiffany, I said, really, what do you make? Rice pilaf, what else? Jollof rice, what else? Paella and rice, what else? Rice on rice. You're not that great of a cook. You cook good with like rice well. That's it. Because you have one type of dish that you make. Same thing with debt. I'm good with debt. I pay all my debt off. Really? What do you have? A Visa card? What else? A MasterCard? What else? American Express card? Well, it doesn't mean you're good with credit and debt. It means you're good at credit cards. So I'm not saying don't go and open up different credit accounts to do this. This is only 10% of your score, but just keep in mind that they look at that like, okay, she has a variety of debt. Okay, so that's 10% of your score is type of debt. Length of credit history. So I just got hit like, boom, my credit score lowered somewhat because I opened up a new card because they do an average. So if I have let me do the math to make it easy for myself. So if I have 2 cards, each of them are 10 years old, woohoo, my length of credit history, 10 years, right? But then I bring in a third, let me make it even easier. If I have 1 card, that's all my credit, and it's 10 years old, woohoo, my length of credit history is 10 years old. Now I bring in a brand new card. So this new card is now 1 year. They give me like year 1. So 10 plus 1 is 11 divided by 2 cards, which is 5.5. So I now have dropped my length of credit history in half. So opening up too many cards at a time. So let's just say I open up 5 new cards. I have a 10-year-old card, which makes me look like I've had credit history for a long time. And then 5 new ones. So that's 10 plus 5, right? Let's just make it even, yeah. 10 plus 5, which is 15, divided by 6. So I have really lowered my length of credit history. See how everybody's doing that math, right? Girls, it's late. So what you don't want to do is get too many new cards. You know, you kind of want to stick with your cards and stay with them. So this is what people have found. One of my friends, she paid off her student loan debt. She was so excited. I paid off my student loan debt. She was so excited, and then her credit score dipped. And she was like, what? I paid off my student loan debt. That should make my credit score go up. And it will eventually. But what it looked like is she had student loans for the last 20 years. She paid it off. She lost 20 years of credit history. You see, it's not so terrible, but now you know the rules. So now you know how to play the game. So you don't want to put your credit history into stuff that's going to be paid off eventually. Like when you pay off your house, that 30 years of credit history is going to be gone. So you want to keep a credit card open. Keep your oldest credit card open. Even if the interest rate is high, just don't use it. Use it on occasion so they don't close it. Because if you don't use it on occasion, they're going to close it. Every once in a while, $5 here every few months. So keep your oldest credit card open to keep that going. Okay, so that's length of credit history. That's 15% of your score. Let me see some questions. Let's see. Hey, Ashley, I'm thanking God that you did not miss tonight either. Connection problems. Hey, Latrice, will you do the challenge again for those who are just joining? Yes, so Simone, you just joined us. So what I'm going to do is once we're done, the challenge ends on February 9th. Yes, I'm going to restart the challenge sometime in February. But the way it'll restart is it won't restart as a group. Like we are collectively 11,000 women doing the challenge together now. The way it'll restart is that when you sign up, Simone, it will start on your day. So if you sign up on Monday, Simone, then on Tuesday, the next day, you will get your first email for the challenge. And then it'll go from there for 36 days. So wherever day if you start in October, the first email will start in October. And so that's how it's going to be. It's just going to automate itself. Hey, Sandy. Ooh, so Sandy, my girl, Sandy's on. So if you see Sandy Smith, she's got this great website called Yes, I Am Cheap. She is my frugal friend, not just online, but in person too. Thank you, Sandy, for coming. Sandy's getting married and she is like chronicling, right? Her paying down her debt. She's paid off so much debt. So if you ever get a chance to read her blog, please do. Yes, I Am Cheap. And she's getting married. So she's also sharing how she's able to do so on a budget. And she's awesome. So Letitia, she loves the idea of meetups. Yes, thank you. Trying to get a babysitter. Oh, you want to go to the party? Letitia, get that babysitter. We're getting a babysitter. My boyfriend has an 8-year-old. And it's so great because her mom is doing the challenge too. And so I'm like, well, somebody has to watch the baby because you're both coming to the party. So Latrice says, I have credit and collections that are going to be 7 years old this year. I noticed that the collection agencies continue to sell my accounts to other agencies. Should I try to settle the debt? No, Latrice, thank you for asking. So I'm taking your questions too while I'm giving you a lesson tonight. If it's going to fall off, well, first of all, Latrice, one thing that you want to do is you want to Google statute of limitations of debt in your state, because debt can expire. Revolving debt, which is credit card debt, in my state, in New Jersey, is 6 years. That's the statute of limitations. So that means after 6 years, if the credit card company has not taken legal action, like taking me to court, garnish my wages, all of that, or whoever owns the debt now, if they have not taken legal actions after 6 years, the government is like, you had 6 years to take this girl to court, to garnish her wages, to hit up HR. You had 6 years to do what you have to do. You should have done it. And so now it doesn't mean that you don't owe it, but they call it zombie debt. So it's alive but dead. It means that they can't legally collect it. It doesn't mean that you technically don't owe it. So I would leave it alone and let it fall off after 7. And if any of those old debts should call you, Latrice, what you're going to do is you're going to ask them to send you a debt validation letter. I have, I forget what day it is. Let me see. If you go to the budgetnistablog.com, I'm going to tell you what day where I give you the free debt validation letter. If you, actually, you know what? I know exactly where you can find it. So if you go to livericherchallenge.com, there's a tab that says book resources. Scroll up and letter, you can send it to them and ask them to validate when this debt was last active, when you last paid, all of that. So basically it'll say when that debt expired, because you'll know, like, oh, last time this debt was active was 10 years ago. Oh no. So that way if they say anything and they call you, you can say this debt is no longer in the state of New Jersey. This debt has expired. I don't know why you continue to call me. If you continue to call me, I will report you to the FTC. So that's what I would do. Just leave that debt alone. After 7 years, most negative items fall off your credit report, unless it's like a judgment or it's bankruptcy. But everything else usually falls off your credit report after 7 years, or you can request it to fall off because it ought to. So Cherie, if you have an account on your credit report that's in collections and still open but charged off, can you have it removed, or do you have to pay the account? So it depends, Cherie. Once again, is that debt zombie debt? Is it dead debt? Find out first. Get your debt validation letter. Like I said, go to livericherchallenge.com, click book resources, get that letter that is your template, and send it to them and see how old it is. Because, and like, if they're not coming after you, then leave it. Especially if you Google your statute of limitations in your state and you find that it's, I don't know, 4 years and it's year 3, because you don't want them to be like, oh, wait, Cherie, hold on, let me call her up. So just leave it for now. I would work on your new debt. Always remember this. Anything that's 2 years old or younger is what you should be working on to clean up your credit report. I'm not saying you shouldn't pay what you owe, but focus on the new stuff first, because that's what counts on your credit report. The old stuff past 2 years doesn't have a huge bearing on your credit score. So let's focus on what matters first, and then you can work on that stuff later, because sometimes this is what can happen. So you remember I said anything that's 2 years old and younger, that's what matters the most. So let's just say you end up paying something that's 5 years old. You actually make it 2 years old again. And now you make something that no longer had any bearing really on your credit score. You make it new again, and you can actually pull your credit score down by paying off old debt. Isn't that crazy? So focus on the new stuff and make sure that any of the stuff that anyone's calling you for has not expired. Because this is what happens. No problem. So Nina just got here. Hey girl, you're not late, you're right on time. So this is what happens. You owe Sears. Sears calls you. You don't have the money and you kind of duck Sears. Shame on you. We've all done it, but I'm just teasing, not shame on you. So you called Sears, and then Sears says, Tiffany's not gonna pay. John, you want this debt? So Sears will gather up all of the Tiffany's that have not paid, and it could be a bundle of 1,000 of us. It could be $100,000 worth of debt. And you know what they sell it for? Pennies on the dollar. That means it could be $100,000 worth of debt, and they might sell it for $10. For real. If it's $1, they will sell it for, like, 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents, pennies on the dollar, 30 cents for each dollar that you owe. So that means although you owe Sears $10,000, they might have bought your debt for $300, $400, something really nominal. And so it's like, wait a minute now. And think about when they sell it. So now Jonathan, who bought your debt from Sears for $300, is calling you. You move, Jonathan doesn't know where to find you. He sells it to Tommy. Tommy buys this $10,000 debt that Jonathan bought for $300. He's not gonna pay $300 because he knows Jonathan paid $300. He wants to pay Jonathan $150. So now he has his $10,000 debt for $150. So they sell it. So you might be dealing with someone, depending on how many years it's been, that has paid next to nothing for your debt. And it stands to make 90% off you. So if you pay them $10,000, they paid $100 for it. And they're like, woohoo. That's why those companies are so aggressive sometimes. So just bear in mind, that's why you can make a deal with those companies. I'm going to show you how to make a deal with those companies. All right. So remember, first things first, if something's on your credit report and it's old and you know, okay, this is past the statute of limitations in my state. You don't know what the statute of limitation of your particular debt is, Google it. Statute of limitation for medical debt in Illinois. Statute of limitation for credit card debt in New York. Put like the specific type of debt because each debt has different types. There's loans, has a different statute than medical debt. We all know student loans, like federal student loans, there's no statute of limitations. Right? But did you know private student loans have a statute of limitations? It's like a regular debt. So if you haven't paid your private student loan, you know, your $100,000 debt in 20 years, like there are no statute of limitations as far as I've seen for debt that's like 20 years. So if they haven't come after you, that debt is dead. Can you imagine student loans, private student loans, meaning like you got it from a bank, not from the government? So that's why it's essential that you know these rules. So remember, your credit card debt is your credit report is made up of 10% inquiries, 10% type of debt, 15% length of credit history, and here's my favorite, 30% utilization. So what is utilization? Utilization is this. How much of your credit are you utilizing? So if you have a credit card and the limit, how much you can use is $100 and you are using $90, guess what? You're utilizing 90% of the credit allotted to you. That's a lot. That's way too much. Utilization is the secret thing that's probably bringing your score down. Because what you're going to find is a lot of people will say, I pay all time. I don't apply for new credit cards. I have different types of debt. And then I'm like, well, let's check your utilization. They're like, what's that? That's what I found with my boyfriend. His credit score was not that great when I met him. And he doesn't really have any debt. I'm like, are you sure you don't have a debt? We're looking. He had one credit card, $500 limit. I said, well, how much do you own it? $400. I said, oh, I see, said the blind man. Once he paid off that $400 debt, his score jumped darn near higher than mine. He has excellent credit, over 750 now. He's doing a happy dance all the way to the bank. I'm like, you owe me dinner, a back massage, vacation. And so utilization is critical. The ideal number is below 30% of your what your limit is. So if your limit is $100, then you want to keep under $30. And this is an average. So if you have 10 cards, let me not do 10. If you have 2 cards, one is $100 limit, the other is $100 limit, one is maxed out at 100, and one you're using not at all. So that's 100 plus 0 is $100 a balance that you have on a $200 possible credit limit. So that means you're using half of your credit. You see what I mean? So it's an average. So just keep that in mind, that you might be maxed out on one card, but you have 5 other cards where you're not using it all. So what that means is that, like, okay, so that's why your utilization might be low, because one card, although you're using it a lot, the other cards you're not. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, payment history. That is 35% of your credit score. And so what that means is, are you paying when they ask? Are you paying what they ask? Are you at least paying the minimum, at least by the due date? That's it. Now, of course, it'd be great if you paid a little bit earlier and you pay a little bit more, but at the very least, if you're doing that, your payment history, 35% of your score. So if you want to see your credit score jump like Jordan, you want to get your utilization down, at least to under 30%, ideally really between 10 and 20%, ideally lower than that, you know, but I mean, what's the point of a credit card if you're not going to use it at all? Payment history, you want to make sure you're paying what they ask when they ask. Collectively, utilization and payment history is 65% of your score. You're going to see a significant increase, especially when you get your utilization down. So that's why it's important. You know how you ask yourself, like, oh, I don't use this credit card, I want to close it. Don't close it. Because if that credit card has a 0 balance, but let's just say the limit is $2,000, but the balance is zero, if you close it, you're going to be affecting your utilization because you're not utilizing that balance. So it looks good. You might be bringing your average up. You know what I mean? So think about it before you close your cards. One, you don't want to close your oldest card because remember, you need your payment history. Two, be careful about closing cards because you want to make sure that you keep your utilization low. So if a card has a zero balance, then you might want to keep it open. You have to do the math. You have to then say, okay, let me add up all of my limits. Let me add up all of my balances and see what percentage of my balances are really eating up my limits. And if I'm close to my utilization, keep that card open. If I'm like utilizing 5%, you might be able to close the card because you have a lot of room between 5% and 30%. Just keep that in mind. If you have any questions, don't be shy. I feel like everyone's like, are you there? Are you here? Are you happy? You sad? Just let me know. Let me see what else I want to teach y'all. Oh, well, while we're at it, there's a subscribe button. Click it. And there's a under watching now. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm hoping that you will choose this. Click it. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Okay. My utilization score is 0% and I don't have credit cards. Should I get one to increase my score? No. Utilization score at 0% is good, Duchess. The lower, the better. Remember that. The lower, the better. And make sure not to go over 30% of the card balance at any given time. Well, it depends, Duchess. Like, how is your credit score? So Duchess is like, she doesn't have any credit cards. She has a 0% utilization rate, which is actually good. But unless credit cards are not necessary, but they're a great tool to help you raise your credit score. So if your credit score is low, then yes, and I'm going to teach you one of the things you can do to increase your credit score by using a credit card just for that. What if you moved out of state? Does that debt follow you? Girl, yes. Oh, we will all move, Cherie. Yes. If you move out of state, that debt will follow you. Now, they might not find where to send the mail, but you still owe it. Yeah, Cherie. What if you move to a new state? Yes, you owe that debt, definitely. Thanks for the great information. You're welcome, Latrice. Okay. So some more stuff. So here is my surefire way to make your credit score jump like Jordan. So first, you want to have a credit card that already has a zero balance. That's critical. Once you get a credit card to a zero balance, so either you're going to pay one off or you can open one and get one. So just know that you getting a new credit card is a what? Inquiry, right? So just know you're going to have to sacrifice some points in the beginning to do this. Now, it might be worth it, but you want to make sure that you even can get a credit card. So where you're going to go is magnifymoney.com. Magnify, I should put it in here. Magnify, www. I don't know if they'll let you write that. Magnify money, MONEY dot, I can't spell .com. So I'll put it in the comments. So magnifymoney.com. And you are going to look to see if you can even get a credit card. About Magnify Money, that'll let you peek without getting the inquiry. So look to see if you can get a regular credit card. And if you can't, look to see if you can get a secured card because they have secured cards as well too. Secured cards are a credit card with training wheels. That means that your credit score, either you don't have enough credit history or your credit score is low, so they don't want to trust you yet with a regular credit card. So a secured card is this. You secure your credit with your own money. They'll say, hey, Tiffany, give me $200, and you'll give them $200 and put it in a savings account or a money market account. And they'll say, guess what your limit is, Tiffany? $200. So you swipe, and then you have to pay. Now, if you don't pay, guess what they're going to get their money from? They're like, oh, Tiffany, you don't want to pay this month? That's all right. Guess what? We're going to go back to the money market account where we stored your money and take the money that you owe us. So do not, I cannot stress this enough. Do not use your secured credit card and not pay. Because do you know what they're going to be thinking? Like, this girl can't even pay back her own self. How are we going to give her a regular credit card? They're not. So a secured card is a credit card detention in a way. You already go act up in class a little bit. Okay, we'll allow for that. We sent you credit card detention. Okay. And now you act up in detention, girl, get out of school. And you're going to have a hard time being inducted to any other school. So if you're not ready for a credit card, if you're not ready to pay back, then do not play with secured credit cards. You're actually ready to pay on time. Okay. So you're going to get yourself a secured credit card if you can't get a regular credit card, knowing that this is an inquiry that's going to stay on your credit report for 2 years, knowing that your credit score is going to drop a little. And that's okay, because that credit card will start with a zero balance. And then you're going to take out your budget. Remember from the 1 week budget? Remember from the 1 week budget? I had you guys do a budget. For those of you who are new to the challenge, don't worry, you'll get to that. And one of the things I teach you in week 2 is how to create a budget. And I give you the first chapter of this book for free to help you create your budget. And so you are going to look at your budget for you old head ladies who've been here before. And you are going to find the smallest bill, reoccurring bill on your budget. Netflix, for example, $8 a month. So you're going to say, hey, Netflix. We're going to pretend this is your new card. Hey, Netflix. I know you're used to, for you old head ladies, you know what I talk about when I say the bill. Not old like old, but you know what I mean, old head like you've been here. Because I know how we are as women. I'm not old. So for you ladies who have been here, you might say, like, you have a bills account. So for ladies who are new, one of the things I have you set up during the challenge is an account specifically for your bills. So technically, Netflix should be taking, or you should be sending the money from Netflix, from your bills account to Netflix. So bills account, normally you send money to Netflix, and the money just goes like this, $8 on the 5th of every month. Send. But you want to use your credit card to help you build your credit. So what you do is you put your credit card in the middle of that transaction. You say, hey, bills account, don't send the money directly to Netflix. Send it, no. Hey, Netflix, don't get the money directly to my bills account. Charge the credit card. So Netflix charges $8 to the credit card. Bills account says, I need to pay Netflix, but I'm going to pay the credit card instead. Netflix charges the credit card. Bills account pays the credit card off every month in full to $0. And guess where the credit card stays? Home. That credit card is not going with you. I don't care if you cut it up. That credit card is not to be used for anything else except for this. Netflix charges, bills account pays. Netflix charges, bills account pays. Why? Because a magic happens when you pay a debt to $0 every month. I don't know how, I don't know why. I learned this from, I always take all these financial classes so I can be better help to you. So I've never been close to bankruptcy, but I took a bankruptcy class a few years ago. And the bankruptcy lawyer suggested this to his clients, that like after you file for bankruptcy, one of the best ways to build up your credit is to pay a bill off to $0. I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if it's $1. It could be $5,000. Anytime you pay a debt or credit off to $0, that makes your credit score jump. I don't know why. It could be $5, like I said. It could be $5,000, same jump. It's crazy. So imagine if you can make your credit score jump like Jordan every single month by just doing this. Netflix charges $8. Bills account pays $8 for $8. When I had, so for those of you who've been here before, you know that lost my job during the recession, couldn't pay my mortgage, pre-foreclosure, blah, blah, blah. Credit score that I used to have at 802 dipped all the way down to 574, which is like an F+. And I used that with 2 cards, and in a year and a half, brought myself up to, brought myself up to 700, and then 6 months later to 750. 750 is the beginning of excellent credit by doing that trick. From 574 to 750. I think I'm at 755 now, 750, I don't know, something like that. But anyway, an excellent range. So I'm not just telling you this. It's like, what is that? The guys with no hair. I'm not only a client, I'm a president. I'm not only the president, I'm the client. Yes. So definitely, this works. It works. So those are the magic steps, is that you have to get your utilization down. You have to improve your payment history by paying when they ask and what they ask, and pay a credit card off in full every single month. Something small and automated. So that credit card, this is my phone. Don't laugh at my big phone. Everyone laughs at my big phone. So this credit card does not get you in trouble. It's going to stay home. So that way the cycle continues without you. It's just an automated cycle. And your credit score is going to be jumping in your sleep and jumping when you're on vacation and jumping. Okay? So that is like my magic, like elixir formula. So I'm going to answer some of your questions, and I'm going to teach you how to settle your credit card debt without getting yourself into. So if you're learning a lot, tell your girlfriend, girl, get on. Let's see, top comments. No, let me see, newest first. Let's see, any questions? So jumped in. Hey, D. So Nadine, would you recommend doing that with your cell phone bill? Yes. So the trick is whatever you're going to put on that credit card. Remember, that credit card is only going to have one small bill. I would find the smallest bill I have, because what I don't want is this credit card bill to become a burden. So if your cell phone bill is your smallest bill, fine. Find the smallest bill that you can. I prefer to you to keep it under $50. Like, let's just say you have a gym membership, that's $30. But if your credit card, like your cell phone bill, like I said, Nadine, is your smallest bill, okay. But what I don't want is for it to pile up and then all of a sudden you get overwhelmed or something happens. $8 for Netflix is something that you can handle, even if you're behind a few months. You can handle that, you know? Did you have any cards during those using? Yes. So I had other cards. So Lorraine, great question. So yes, those two cards, literally, they were my workhorses. The only purpose for those two cards was to sit home and raise my credit score. That's it. So, but I actually had a regular credit card that I would use from time to time. So it's not like I didn't use credit cards at all, but those cards, that's not what they were for. So that card that you're going to get for this is not for anything else other than to raise your score. You can have another credit card that you use, like your day-to-day or whatever it is that you use, but not for that card. Because some people will say, well, I just pay off a credit card bill every month. You wouldn't be on the Live Richer Challenge if we actually stuck to that, So have one credit card where it's not for anything else. Don't mix and match. I like personally to separate to see. That's why I like to have my bill money separate. I talked to you guys about money buckets, having separate savings accounts for all of your financial goals. So separate to see. Separate that card. Let that card or cards only work to raise your credit score, and whatever else you use your credit cards for, it's fine as long as you're paying them off or paying them. Would you recommend? Let me see. Can you get increase removed from your credit report? No, not really, Cherie, unfortunately. Like, it's 2 years. I mean, unless the only way you really get an increase removed from your credit report, honestly, is if it's not you. So if you see an increase, you're like, this is not me, you can dispute it. And there's a free dispute letter in the Dream Catchers Live Richer group on Facebook. That at the top of the group page, there is a little box that says files. Click on it, and you can even search files. So you can put dispute letter in, and you'll find it there. If it's not correct, if it is correct, it's 2 years. So Chase no longer offers secured cards. Oh, so this is okay. So Melanie, I'm so glad you said that, because the best place to get a secured card, one, is your bank if they offer one. This is why, because if you do good with the secured card. So remember, secured cards are credit card detention. You're good in detention, what happens? You come back to class, right? So same thing with your credit card. If you do good with your secured card, guess what happens? They will allow you back. They will take the secured part off the card and make it a regular credit card. I remember my boyfriend here, when we went to the bank once, and he was like, babe, there's an extra $500 in my account. Let's go. I was like, no, let's go. If it's a mistake, they're going to find out. Let's figure out what's going on. And so we asked him, and he said, oh, you have used your secured card so well for the last 6 months that we made it a regular credit card. So imagine he's thinking that he's getting away with money, but it's his money. Remember, your secured card, you secured it with money that you put up. So that $500 is what he originally put up like 6 months, whatever ago. And so the best place to start is with your bank. So if your bank doesn't offer a secured card, then you can try a credit union. Or like I said, if you go to magnifymoney.com, you can look for a secured card there. Now, the key is you have to ask them, do you report to the credit bureaus? It's important, because what's the point of using the secured card to raise your credit score and they don't even report? So that's essential. That's why it's best to go to a bank or a credit union, because they definitely report. And like I said, if not, there's other secured cards at Magnify Money, but don't apply for them until you call and get more information and say, hey, do you report to the credit bureaus? What about closing accounts with First Premier? They are the worst. I don't know who First Premier is. Lorraine, I need some more details. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate. All right, so now I'm going to teach you a little bit more about settling. So remember, we talked about before that you owed Sears, right? And Sears is like, oh, you owe me, and you don't pay Sears. So then Sears sells your debt to Tom. Tom buys your $10,000 debt for $300. Then Tom doesn't get money from you. Then Tom sells your $10,000 debt for $150. So everybody's selling your debt until the person who finally owns it bought your $10,000 debt for $50. Like, this is not, I'm not even just making these numbers up. Like, that's legitimately what could happen. That's when the magic happens. So these people who bought your debt for $50 are usually pretty vicious. Why? Because they stand to make $9,995 for free. So sometimes they get really vicious because it's money, money, money for them. This is what you can do. One, if you want to negotiate, so after first, you want to verify that you indeed owe that debt. Somebody calls you, hi, Tiffany, this is such and such, I'm collecting a debt. But, oh, okay, well, what's your fax number or what's your mailing address? Because I want to send you a debt validation letter because I'm not sure. So you're not going to admit to anything other than, yes, my name is Tiffany. And it's okay to say, yes, I live in 222-555 Court, whatever. You can say that, but you're not going to, and if they try to force you to say, oh, this is your debt, be careful because there's a statute of limitation on debt, especially credit card debt. 6 years in New Jersey, 6 years in New York. Some places it's 3 years. So what that means is after that, the debt is dead. Doesn't mean that you don't owe it, but it means they certainly cannot collect legally. So this is what they'll try to do. They'll try to get you on the phone. Now this is a phone again, just so you know, this is no longer my credit card. Hey, Tiffany, you owe us money. Well, I don't know, And I remember like, oh my gosh, that's back when I was in college. Like, well, how much do I owe $2,000, now it's $10,000 because of all the interest and fees. Oh, you better pay. Well, I don't really have money right now. You don't have $2 a month, Tiffany? Well, they'll try to get you mad, upset, scared. Well, we're going to take you to jail. We're going to some other illegal stuff. $2, Tiffany? Just agree to $5, $2, $1, whatever. Okay, I agree. You know what I just did? I restart the statute of limitations. Now they can take me to court. So be very careful what you agree to on the phone, because a lot of times they know the statute of limitation is passed. They know that, but they're hoping if they can get you to agree to a payment or to make a payment or to use that debt or credit, then they can get you to restart the statute of limitations again. So even though I've had women, this little old lady, she was so sweet, Ann, I'll never forget. She was 85 years old, sitting in one of my classes, and she had a debt from when she was 20. And she owed, I don't know, back then, maybe $2,000, and it had ballooned to like something ridiculous, like $70,000. So they called to collect 60 years later. So Ann was like, what should I do? I don't know what to do, blah, blah. And I said, girl, Annie, I didn't say girl. I said, Miss Ann, you just stay beautiful. You don't have to do anything. They have no legal grounds to collect as long as you do not admit to the debt and you don't make a payment or agree to a payment. And I gave her a cease and desist letter that I helped her mail out so they can stop calling. Because if you send a cease and desist letter, by law, they have to stop calling. The best way to do it if you want it to happen right away, fax it. My mortgage company used to harass me when I lost my job and I couldn't pay my mortgage anymore. Meanwhile, I used to call them every day, like, what can I do? I was trying to be like a good, I'm a financial professional. I know what to do. I'm going to make my phone calls. I'm going to, make sure that I'm doing the right thing. But I guess they wanted money, so they started calling my sister, my father, a job. And I'm like, why are you calling these places when I am here and I'm calling you every day? I'm not hiding from you. And then the light bulb went up. Oh, they're hoping to shame me by calling them and to get me to pay. Well, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. Is that a phrase? I think so. You can't squeeze blood from a turnip. I didn't have the money. And so I didn't know what to do. And so I sent them a cease and desist letter and said, stop calling these numbers. This is the number you can call. So in the cease and desist letter, you could say just don't contact me, but it's best to give them some way to contact you just in case, because you don't want them to be sending you to court and you don't know. So send them a cease and desist letter. I faxed it within 24 hours, no more phone calls. So know that you can always send a cease and desist letter. Verify your debt, check your statute of limitations. Always validate that debt first. Identify dead debt, then negotiate. So let's just say they give you the debt validation letter. You're like, ooh, okay. Oh, that's that debt from 2 years ago. Oh, okay. I owe this. I'm going to pay it. Because like Tiffany said, any debt that's 2 years old or younger, this is debt I really should focus on first, because this is the debt that has the most influence on my credit score. All right, I'm going to pay it. But you know that this is not serious who you originally owed. So now it's let's make a deal. Because this company bought your debt for less than what you owe. So that means they are willing to take less. So if they bought your $10,000 debt for $300, they'll probably take $5,000. Honestly, they'll probably take less than that. So negotiate. I always like to start at 30% of the original. So I tell people, if you owe 10, tell them you have 3,000. They're gonna be like, oh, no, we can't take 3,000. Yes, they can. They paid 300. So don't let them fool you. So that's what you're gonna ask for. You're gonna see if you can pay 30% less, and then let them inch you up. Don't start up high because there's no place to go but up. They're always going to try to push you up. So start low, 20, 30%. And it's really helpful if you have the lump sum. Now, if you want to pay $3,000 and you're like, oh, I can pay $5 a month. Come on now, they're not going to go for that. But if you look and you're like, you know what? Darn it, I had this vacation fund. I was going to go on a cruise, but let me put this $3,000 so I can put this debt to rest, and then I can save up more to go on that cruise. If you have the $3,000, let them know I have $3,000 right now that I can give you. Once you send me a letter saying that I will be free and clear, that this will cover what I owe you. So you want to ask for that. One, make sure that you get some sort of letter saying that this is before you pay. Remember, when you have the money, you have the power. Always. Whoever has the money has the power. Whoever wants the money is not in the power position. Is not in the position of power. So always remember that. Whether you're buying a car or whatever it is, don't let those salespeople push you around. You have the money. You have the power. Always remember that, because you can always take your money and go someplace else. So this debt collector has not gotten any money yet. That means you have the power. Call at the end of the month. A lot of debt collectors are on quotas. So let's just say I'm a debt collector and my quota is $10,000 for the month. And last month I didn't meet my quota. The month before that I didn't meet my quota. My boss let me know if I don't collect my $10,000, guess what? I'm fired. So I'm at $9,000. I need to just collect $1,000 more. It is the 31st of the month, and it is 2 hours before closing time. And I'm like, oh gosh, and here you come, you owe 10. So of course I would love to get 10, but I will be willing to settle for 2,000 just so I can get my quota. Calling at the end of the month is a great strategy to be able to negotiate. So you want to negotiate, one, to pay less, much less. Two, especially if you have a lump sum. Now they might settle for $7,000 if you are going to make payments, or $6,000 if you're going to make payments, but they'll settle for $3,000 if you have that lump sum. So sometimes I'll tell people, don't even call them until you save up some money. You know, you haven't paid all this time, save some money, 6 months, save some money. And then once you're going to, like I said, you're going to negotiate for less money. You're going to negotiate for them to send it. Like, this is non-negotiable that they send you a letter saying that your guys will be even. You have to get that. But you're going to negotiate for them to not say settle. You want them to negotiate for paid as agreed upon. Settled is like a big X on your paper, big red X. I don't want it to say settled. I need you to say paid as agreed upon. Let them put that in their letter to you. And that's important, because even if they put settled on your credit report, that letter they gave you that says that this will say paid as agreed upon is what you can then send to the credit bureaus as a dispute letter saying, I'm disputing that this says settled because this is what they said they were going to do. So you can change it even if they don't hold up to their end of the bargain, if you have it in writing first. Remember all of this before you give them any money, because that's when you're in a position of power. You're going to ask them if they can erase the trade lines. Trade lines are just the history of this debt. Now, they can't really erase the trade lines from like the people before who bought it or from Sears, but they can erase their trade lines. Meaning, like, you don't want the history, because sometimes you could pay off debt, paid, but it still shows that you didn't pay all these other months. So see if they can erase that history that you had with them. They may not say yes, but hey, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Ask. So that's the things you want to negotiate for. Paying less, not to say settled, say paid as agreed upon. Erase the trade lines, which is the history. And for them to send you that in writing, at the very least, even if they're going to say settle, but let's just say that you owe 10 and they settle for $2,500 and they refuse to say that they're going to take off the word settle, it might be worth it to have the word settled because you save so much. But remember Uncle Sam, because the United States government wants their money, and any money that you get excused really over $600, you can be taxed on, because they look at it this way. You spent 10 and you paid 2, you made money. You made $8,000. We want 30% of the 8,000, or whatever your tax rate is, which is most likely like 30%. So just keep in mind that you might get something called a 1099, which is basically a W-2. Like, that's what I get. I get a bunch of 1099s at the end of the year because I work for all these different companies and I work for myself. So that's like a private contractor. Like, oh, Tiffany made money. Tiffany made money. Tiffany made money from me. It looks like, oh, you made money from someone else. 1099, basically a W-2. So you're going to have to pay taxes on that. So I would ask my accountant. So my accountant told me that if your net worth is below 0, you have a negative net worth, then you don't have to worry about taxes. Like, let's just say you have all this debt, then you might not have to worry about paying taxes on it. But if you have like a positive net worth, meaning like what you owe is less than what you have, then you're going to have to definitely pay taxes on that. So I would reach out to my tax professional to ask for sure. And if you really need help, if you're like, oh, all this great information, but I'm so confused, there's this great, so I don't believe in credit repairing companies for the most part. There are a few good ones, but for the most part, I usually don't believe in them because it's hard to find a good reputable one. One of my friends is a debt lawyer in New Jersey, and he said that 90% of the credit repairing companies, 90% are scams. So finding the 10% is not going to be easy. So one, if you're going to use a credit repairing company, I would use one from someone that I personally knew and trust and said, I did this, this is my result. My sister, my auntie's friend who I see on Sundays. So not like a friend of a friend of a friend of a, no. I need to be able to look at you in your eyes and say, you use them? What did you have before? What did they do? How much did they cost? So that's how you would find a credit and company if you're going to do that, like a credit restoration company or whatever they call themselves. Or even better, there's this great website called National Foundation of Credit Counseling, the nfcc.org. National F Foundation Credit C Counseling C. Go to the National Foundation of Credit Counseling.org. You're going to put in your zip code and they will find, they call them partners. And this is a nonprofit organization. And they will show you where their partners are in your state or wherever it is that you live. And they will offer you help for free or very low cost. Help with your debt, help with your budgeting, one-on-one help, like I said, for free or very low cost. So if hopefully there's a partner in your area. So if you need some help, I would start there before reaching out to credit repairing companies, unless it was one that I'd heard amazing reviews from people that I knew and trusted. Okay. Any questions before we wrap up? Let's see. I'm going to take a few more questions. Clarifying, if you have a hard hit due to inquiry and you were approved, does your credit score still drop? Yes. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Look at Sandy. So for those of you who didn't hear me earlier, one of my friends, Sandy Smith from Yes, I Am Cheap, she has this awesome website where she is chronicling her journey to paying down debt. She's awesome. She is a financial expert and guru. And so thank you, Sandy, for answering that question. Yep. Approved or declined, it does not matter. Tanya. So that's why it's critical, Tanya, for you to, I would really go to Magnify Money to see, because they will usually tell you based upon, like, you'll put in your credit score and kind of like how much debt you have, that kind of stuff. And they'll let you know, like, ahead of time, like, it's not looking good. You know, so that way you know if you should move forward or not. Kalia, when getting added as an authorized user, oh, this is another one, Kalia, thank you. I forgot about this one. So remember I said, here's some ways to make your credit score jump like Jordan. I can't believe I forgot this one. One, get your utilization down. That means you want to use less and less and less of your credit balance, right? Credit limit. So that's one. Two, your payment history. Pay on time, pay when they ask. Three, pay off a small debt on a credit card every single month. So get a credit card just for that. A credit card with a zero balance that you're going to charge your Netflix or your cell phone, something small every month, and automatically pay it every month. And that credit card's going to stay home. And four, Kalia just reminded me, you to become an authorized user. So your great granny Sunshine has a credit card and she has paid it well for the last 20 years. And she is nice enough to let you be an authorized user, but you are not going to use that card. So an authorized user, especially great for parents to do for kids, that you can actually put your child or anybody on as an authorized user, and they will literally inherit your good credit history with that particular card. How awesome is that? It's a good thing about being an authorized user is that you don't let the person use the card. So like if you have poor credit and your mom pushed you on as an authorized user, you're not using her credit card. Your mom is just doing what she normally does, and it looks like you're doing great. And let's just say your mom loses her job, she has a hard time, and she doesn't pay. You won't even inherit her not paying, because all of that negative history of her not paying would fall off. And if it doesn't, then you would file a dispute letter saying, hey, I was just an authorized user, that wasn't me. So you can get that taken off. So an authorized user is a great way. It's not like some magic, but it's just a great way to start building your child's credit history if you have good credit, or to try to give yourself a little bit of a boost by getting on one of your aunties, uncles, or somebody else that's an authorized user. But you have to know that they pay on time. So I would really want it to be somebody who you're really close with, that you know is really good with this particular card that they're making you an authorized user of. Let's see. She said, when getting an authorized user for someone else's credit card, don't they need my social security number? Yes, they're most likely. That's what I'm saying. You want to ask your auntie, your mom, somebody you're trusting. Kalia. So you're not asking like, your sister's cousin's friend who's really good at money. So someone you would trust. How do you go about having derogatory remarks removed from your credit report? An account was charged off, but transferred, sold, and paid off. However, the late payments still appear. So Ms. T, technically they can appear for as long as 7 years. You can always write and ask for them to be taken off, but they don't have to do that. 7 years is really the hallmark. Like that's when things fall off. Unless if something's there and it ought not to be. So let's just say you're like, I didn't charge this at the Gap. Why is this here? You can dispute that. Now that has to come off. But if something that you actually did, then 7 years is the marker. This is super helpful. I'm buying your book for my mom. Aw, thank you, China. Do you have any other cards? Oh yeah, let me see. I see some new questions came in. Just checked, credit utilization is 147. Yes. So you're using 147. I mean, you're using all of your credit plus almost 50% more. When I called to see about my student loan, they always ask me do I plan on paying? Is that to restart the statute of limitations? Girl, if it's federal, don't even worry about that. Like you have to pay your student loans. Quanisha, you have to pay your student loans. So I would try to work out a plan more and more now, especially with our president, that they have something called IBR, income-based repayment. So if you're not making much, you might be able to pay based upon how much you make. I wouldn't hide from student loans. If they're private student loans, then they might be trying to see if we start the statute of limitations. Remember, federal, there's no statute. Private, there are. So yes, you want to get your credit utilization down, and yes, make your on-time payments. That's going to help significantly. I agree that credit repair companies are unnecessary. I used Lexington Law for a few years ago, and while I got off a few derogatory marks, they sent the same format letters you provided. Exactly, Natisha. Like Lexington Law, I've heard mixed reviews. So this is what I've heard about Lexington Law as far as credit repair companies, that it's good for the first few months. You want to know why? Because the letter that I gave you, they send out to all of these people on your credit report. And then it takes a few months, but the stuff that's supposed to fall off will fall off. So after the first few months, there's nothing else to do. They sent the letters already. So like if you need Lexington Law because you just don't want to send, or all these other credit repair companies that you've heard good things about, but people that you trust, because you don't want to send the letters out yourself, then it's really past a few months, they're not necessary. Because after that, once they send the letters and they dispute, there's nothing else they can do for you. Because whatever the decision was is what the decision is. So keep that in mind. You can do it for free. Save that money. Go on vacation instead. I'm not sure if my question is showing, but I would like to know how to handle public records on your credit report. So the stuff that's in public records are usually like the stuff that's like big major things. I would know specifically what. Kimberly, like anything negative that's happened, that's where it goes under the public records section. So if it's bankruptcy, it's like 10 to 13 years, really like 13 years before it falls off. If it's foreclosure, same thing, 10 years. If it's a credit card thing that you were late on, 7 years. So it depends. If it's not yours, you can always dispute. If it is yours, then, and you decide that you want to negotiate with this credit collector, whoever, because it's under the statute of limitations and you still like basically still owe, it's not zombie debt, then negotiate for them to take that off. So sending a dispute letter, if it's real, a dispute letter is not magic. It's not going to make stuff fall off, you know? And so if it's actually legitimate, then it means it's supposed to be there. That's the purpose of your credit report. I did that, but they didn't ask for a social security number. How does it get added to my credit report? Okay, well, that's good, Khalil. So I don't know. That's actually a really good question. That's the first time somebody asked me that question. I'm going to research that for you. Good question. I just added my 18-year-old twins to me as authorized user, and they have a higher credit score than me. Yes, Lorraine. So Lorraine, let's ask Lorraine this question. Lorraine, so Khalil would like to know, did you have to give them their social security number for your 18-year-old twins when you added them as an authorized user, which is awesome. My credit report when I was like 23 was an 805. I was killing the game. Anything else? Any other questions? I'm going to refresh the screen one more time to make sure I didn't miss any of your questions. And before you leave, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if it was helpful. So some questions are spam. Okay, it's late payments over. Oh, late payments and over the limit. No, so if that's true, then there's nothing. Then that's just what it is. I forget. I'm just refreshing the screen so I can't see your name. So if that's true, then, and that's what's in your public record, if you were late, then you were legitimately late. Let me see. Maybe one more question. This is a good session, I think. I plan to pay my car off, but have a few late payments. Would paying 6 months on time payments before paying off will help my score? Paying on time is always going to help your score. Paying your car off is going to help your score. It's not going to make the late payments go away. But what you can do, Monique, is ask the car company, or you're the person that's financing your car. Ask them what you can do if they can maybe take those off your credit, because they can ask to withdraw those things from your credit report. So ask them, because you're making on-time payments, and see what you can do. You never know. Remember, when you have the money, you have the power. All right. So I love you long time. I hope this was really helpful. We have a few more days left of the challenge. A lot of awesome stuff coming up. I hope to see you at the Live Richer party on February 11th. Please RSVP at livericher.eventbrite.com. If you have any questions, I hope you're part of the forum, because you can get any question there answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I don't know, I'm just really happy. This is just really great. And good night, ladies. Yeah. Now it's the daily struggle, the weekly struggle. Some of y'all wrote me about this behind the scenes, like, Tiffany, how do you still not know how to turn off the Hangout? There it is. Stop broadcast. Good night.